John, what is the greatest challenge facing the Christian church in Australia today?
Oh dear. I think the greatest challenge for the Christian church today is to stay the line, but to do it in love and in respect for others who don't. I think the church has shifted from being, in my dad's day, a pharisaical, judgmental, pretty hard sort of holiness club. It's now shifted, and I think I've had some influence on this in this country, to be honest. Some of us that were Jesus freaks back in the late 60s, early 70s, we were calling the church to behave like Jesus and to love the outsider. Now, when I started to do that, sadly, my own denomination and no other denomination was willing to ordain me to a multi-church function of planting communities of faith from people with no Christian background. And I was even told when some of the hippies and other freaks were getting converted that the straight people in the church wouldn't be able to cope with them, so you'd have to look after them yourself, Smitty. And that always troubled me. I never wanted to start something separate. But in those days, I can remember at Bible college when a folk singer came to sing. There were some of us there that were old fundamentalists who were having prayer meetings. We thought the devil had got into the Bible college because I was singing, pretty soft stuff, really, rather like, just folk type song. And of course, I became one of the people at the forefront of saying you could use rock and roll music. The cultural form wasn't the issue, it was what we were saying. We ought to love people, whether they smelt like us, looked like us, or whatever. Now the problem is the church has actually broken those walls down. And, they're singing Hillsong music and all sorts of stuff, loud bands, all that. And now the church is seen as the great friend of everybody, to the extent that with all the complexities of multiculturalism and multi-faith, the church now, I think, is really weakened to the point where if it's unpopular, if it's going to be pilloried on the ABC, they're not going to hold to something. So it's almost the opposite of my dad's day. We've gone from the Pharisee thing to a real compassion at the street level, but in doing that, we've lost many of the core truths and issues that I believe Christians have to stand for without losing compassion. And I think if you make real friends with a homeless person, you make real friendship with a biker, if you make real friendship with any group of people, you will not find that they will be incensed by you sharing uncomfortable truths, providing you really respect and love them. And I think the great challenge for the church at present is to get back to the teachings of Jesus and not weaken and not care whether we are the flavour of the month and whether we're popular or not. Because in history, it goes up and down. 1 minute you're popular, 1 minute you're not. One form of music's the in thing this time, it's different another time. We're going to hold to what is true. And I guess to sum it up, the words of the great St. Paul are my little mantra. He said, holding the truth in love. That's the great challenge of the church, with all the conflict of multiculturalism, with all the jihad business and everything else. It's not to depart from the truth. I mean, the reason some of these guys use a sword to take the heads off people they disagree with is not because usually they're mentally insane. It's because they have a really wrong worldview. They really believe, some of them are intelligent and as mentally healthy as you and me, but they actually believe that their God would have them kill the infidel. And because they believe that, they behave that way. So we're going to deal with issues of truth. Yes. But we've got to deal with them in love, holding the truth in love is the great challenge of the church today.